I'm Lauren from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Matador ReFraction Packable Backpack, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. The version we have here is in the slate blue colorway. So if I can bring it up a little bit closer, you can get a nice look at the design there. I really like this color. It's a great alternative to the black. It's kind of muted, but you still get a little bit of color, which, you know, most Matador gear comes in black, so this is a nice change. This here is designed to replace the on-grid packable backpack. So it has very similar design features, but there are a few things that are different. And I think this backpack is a pretty significant upgrade if you're familiar with the other bag. So looking at the outside here, we have a recycled nylon with a PU waterproofing. We have YKK PU coated zippers around the bag as well. And then we have recycled blue sign. They say span, but I'm assuming that's just spandex because it is quite stretchy here in like all of these kind of like around here. And then the rest of it is like you can see a little bit of a reinforcement pattern there. We also have some Bartack stitching around for additional reinforcement. In general, it's just a pretty solidly built bag. There's really subtle, you know, design features around, like this logo is pretty chill, just like hanging up in this corner here. There's a top carry handle, which stays pretty significantly out of the way. It just gives you a little bit of a grabbing point. Great for hanging because of how far back it is on the actual bag here. So if like you hang it on a bathroom stall door or something, it's gonna sit flush, which is really great. And what I like about this is that I feel like the on-grid, when it wasn't full completely, it got really saggy or kind of lumpy. And this here, I think it's mostly like these pockets on the side and this extra material, just feel like it gives it a little bit of stability. So I do have this packed out pretty full, but even as I start to take items away, it feels like a really, you know, sturdy bag. So I really dig it, and we can start to look into some of like the other design features. The harness system is pretty simple as well. So like I mentioned before, we have this top carry handle here, and then we have some pretty well padded shoulder straps. It's not significant. You can see it's still pretty thin, but it does have, like if I push into this, it does have a little bit of give to it. What I also like is that this like reinforcement on the outside here is not on the inside, which means that when this rests up against, you know, if it like rests up against your shoulders or your traps or something like that, this is just kind of like a softer alternative to having something like this brush up against you. And then this Bartack stitching adds a little bit of reinforcement as well. So, you know, this padding's not gonna shift or anything like that. We also have a loop here if you wanted to attach any additional gear. It's not designed for a water bladder, but you could theoretically feed it through this open zipper here and then loop it through. Again, it's not designed for that, but it is an option. And then we have the sternum strap here. This is a YKK buckle, nice and sturdy, pretty thin. And then down here as well, you know, pretty easy adjustment. We also have these two little loops on the side, and this actually acts as, you can feed this through the sternum strap being this, and then you buckle them together and it, let me give it a little extra give here. And this creates a luggage pass through, and it just adds a little bit of extra stability, which is a pretty cool shout. Overall, the fit of this backpack is pretty solid. Like I said, the straps are pretty comfortable. It kind of curves nicely to your back just because of that flexible material. And the sternum strap does add a little bit of extra support as well. It makes it feel almost a little bit more like a hiking pack. The sternum strap is removable and adjustable, so you can kind of find the fit for you or just get rid of it entirely. I do wish that there were like strap keepers to kind of manage all of this extra strap, but it is pretty thin, so it's not that big of a deal to have it hanging down. But overall, really comfortable fit, so I really enjoyed this backpack for that. As for other pockets around the outside, this has a few additional features compared to the on-grid, which was pretty bare bones. So what's nice is if you know that you are going to be a little bit more active, this does have a dedicated water bottle pocket. So that's something that I definitely missed in the on-grid, and so I'm glad to see it here. I have an 18-ounce Yeti that I can just kind of shove in there. You can see it's a very deep and very stretchy water bottle pocket here. there. So it fit that pretty nicely. Anything bigger than this might be a little bit difficult, but it pretty much covers the entire bottle there. So it is really secure. I mean, if I shake that thing, it's not going anywhere. Something to keep in mind is that it will block these zippers right here. So, you know, I guess kind of pick whichever water bottle pocket, like most of the time I'd put it over here and then keep my zippers over here. Kind of a just user thing, but something to note. So I'm gonna take that out here. And then we have an identical water bottle pocket on the other side as well. Bar tack stitching and then kind of like a stretchy elastic to keep it in place. On the front here, we have another zippered pocket. You can see the zipper pull right now, but if I just tuck that in, it kind of tucks away. So there is a little bit of a lip here to just sort of hide that and just kind of keep the aesthetic pretty clean. And so you just open that up, and then you see on the inside, there's space for like quick grab items. So I just have my phone in here, but you can see down here, there is some stitching to kind of like bring this out. So you can really stuff this pocket a little bit more if you want to. But I do notice here, we have some stitching coming loose, like right along this edge here. And it actually looks like the stitching is like loosening up versus just being some like extra, sometimes we'll see like extra threads or something poking through, but this looks like it's almost like pulling. So I don't know if, you know, if that's something just because the material itself is so stretchy and it was really pulling, or, you know, maybe I had some stuff in this water bottle pocket and it just like really stretched it out. I did stuff this thing pretty full pretty often, so that could play a part in it. Just not really super great to see, but as of right now, we haven't had any issues with it like fully coming apart, but definitely, you know, keep an eye on our site and we'll just keep you posted if anything like that changes. The other pocket that we have here is this top pocket, which actually doubles as the stuff pouch when all of this gets packed away. And so in here, I just have wallet, keys. I can put phone in here too. It's pretty roomy. If you like put it on its back here, it goes all the way down to here. So you have like a good amount of space for all of your essentials. There's no key leash or anything, but there is this loop that kind of acts as like an attachment loop when it's all packed up. And you could attach like a carabiner to here and like attach your keys to it. So that's definitely an option. But what's nice is that all of the zipper tracks have a like little like locking place, so you can add a little bit of security without being obnoxious about it. And they're pretty easy to feed through and then like be done with. You can see you just kind of like feed it back through and then you can open it up. So it has it on the side here and then here as well. I don't actually believe there's not one in this front pocket here, but overall it's kind of a nice feature, just some extra security without making like really hard to use locking zippers. And then with like paracord and the Hypalon on the end of those zipper pulls, they're really easy and nice to like grip, and overall it just feels like a pretty solidly constructed bag. The only critique really is like the stitching on this side is just getting a little loose. This side's not, so you know, it might just be this bag in particular, but something to keep in mind. All right, so into the main compartment. So we have 16 liters of space in this bag here, and a lot of that is in this main compartment. So this is a dual zipper, so you can put them, like I mentioned, there's that security tie on this side here, but you can put both zippers on this side here. There's just no security tie. Just kind of a preference thing, but what's nice is that you can open it from both sides. And then it doesn't go, you know, it doesn't open any wider than just like basically where these water bottle pockets are. But that's pretty standard for any like top loader, especially like this type of design, a packable bag. So in here I have a toiletry kit, and then I just have an extra sweatshirt layer. That's pretty large, so obviously if you have a smaller jacket, you're gonna save a ton of space. But I just kind of want to show you what it was like when it was fully packed out. Actually, let me take my phone out of this front compartment here. And then here we have two just like packing cubes. But I was able to, I did like a quick overnight at a friend's, and I just loaded this up with what I needed. So just some toiletries, basically a change of clothes, some pajamas, things like that. And I was able to get all of it in here. And what was nice is like, it just felt really, really stretchy. And like I just kind of felt like every time I added something else, I still had some room to go. So it does feel like a pretty roomy 16-liter backpack. And then when it's all empty, you just have a little open space there, super roomy. I like that it doesn't get really saggy if it's not completely full. So like as an example, I'll just put this in here. I'm gonna zip it up, and then I can show you like just holding onto it. this whole top bit still has a good amount of structure. So I found that with some packable bags, when you only have 1 or 2 items in there, it can feel really like lopsided and weird. And granted, there's not like a huge back panel to give you a ton of structure back there. So, you know, obviously if it's going to be lumpy, you're going to feel it back here. But I did like that it just had a little bit of extra structure. It just felt like, just kind of feels like a premium packable backpack, which you don't see a ton. And then if you are going to pack this up, it packs up just like the on-grid, where it stuffs into this compartment here. So I'm going to zip this up and then leave it with a little bit of extra space here, a little bit of a gap, so that I can crush all the air out. And then you just essentially shove it into itself. It's just like reversing. And it is pretty simple. I do find that it's a little bit tough to get into like the corners here. I found that with the on-grid as well. It was like I kind of shove everything in here, get it all situated. This is like a reversible zipper. So you see that one with the zipper pulls on the inside now, and then the regular zippers on the outside, kind of like battling a little bit with these straps, but it is fairly easy to zip up once you have it all in there. So you can see the shape's a little bit goofy. Just gonna finish zipping that up really quick. You can see the shape's a little bit goofy, like on this side here. So you can, like what I'll do is I'll just like stick my hand in there and just kind of like almost just like spread it out, correct it a little bit. I never find that it doesn't pack up as pretty, I think, as it would like intend to be when they're designing it. It's just like a little bit clumpy looking. It's not terrible, and it's going in your bag, so it's not the end of the world, but it is pretty packable. On here, if you have a couple of different Matador bags, it tells you which one you're kind of dealing with here, so you can kind of keep track of stuff. This is a loop I was talking about earlier where you can like hook this to something. I guess if like you have a huge bag and you want to keep track of it, you can hook it in there, you can hang it up at home, or you can use it when it's flipped inside out to hold your keys in place or something like that. But it packs down pretty small. It's a little bit of a different size than the on-grid, which again, this is replacing. But if, you know, that's not a huge deal breaker for your bag, if you're not like really fighting for space, this is a pretty solid fit with a few more premium features that make it feel more like a backpack versus just a regular packable backpack. So there you have it, the Matador ReFraction Packable Backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.